You just told someone you're fine. You're not fine. But the word came out smooth, fast, automatic, like your mouth knew the line before your brain finished the thought. You do this constantly, texting "on my way" when you haven't moved, saying "I love it" about a gift you'll never use, telling a coworker "no problem" when it is, in fact, a problem. You think of these as small, harmless, almost invisible, but the real answer is far stranger. Every single time you lie, even about something this small, your brain runs a hidden, measurable process that truth-telling never triggers, and you have never once noticed it happening.
Here's the reframe. Lying isn't a moral event happening in some separate, guilty corner of your mind. It's a cognitive event. It's mechanical. Your brain treats a lie the way it treats lifting something heavier than expected, with extra effort, extra monitoring, extra strain. Telling the truth is mostly retrieval. You just pull a memory and say it. Lying is construction. You have to invent a version of reality, check it against what the other person already knows, track your own face, your tone, your timing, and hold the real truth in the back of your mind so it doesn't slip out by accident. That's not one task. That's 4 or 5 tasks stacked on top of each other, running at the same time for as long as the lie has to hold.
Psychologist Bella DePaulo spent years studying this in the most unglamorous way possible. She didn't ask people to lie in a lab and watch them sweat under fluorescent lights. She asked ordinary people to keep diaries of their actual lies for a week, in their actual lives. What she found surprised almost everyone, including some of the researchers. People lied constantly. Not dramatically, not maliciously. On average, more than once a day. Often to people they were close to. Often about things so small they barely registered as lies at all. I already ate. Traffic was bad. I didn't see your message. Lying, it turned out, wasn't the exception in human communication. It was closer to the background noise of it.
So if you're doing this constantly, why don't you notice the strain? Because most of these lies are tiny, low stakes, and well rehearsed. Your brain has done the small ones so many times that the extra effort barely registers. The same way you don't notice the effort of walking down a familiar hallway in the dark. But the moment the stakes go up, the effort becomes visible if you know where to look. And someone did know where to look.
Psychologist Paul Ekman spent decades studying the face, frame by frame, to find what he called microexpressions. Tiny, fast, involuntary flashes of real emotion that leak through before a person can control their expression. We're talking fractions of a second. A flash of fear before the calm denial. A flicker of contempt before the polite smile. Ekman's research suggested something uncomfortable. Your face is not fully under your control. The same brain that's busy constructing a lie, tracking the other person's reaction, and suppressing the truth simply doesn't have enough bandwidth left to also perfectly police every muscle in your face. Something leaks. It almost always leaks. You've just never been trained to catch it, in yourself or in anyone else.
Here's where it gets stranger. You'd think a guilty person would feel terrified while lying, and a truthful person would feel calm. Reality flips that. Researcher Aldert Vrij, who has spent his career studying how people actually behave when they deceive versus when they tell the truth, found that liars often look calmer than truth tellers, not more nervous. Why? Because a liar is concentrating so hard on managing the story that they accidentally suppress the normal fidgeting and emotional leakage of an honest, relaxed person. The honest person isn't managing anything. They're just being honest, messily, naturally, with all the small twitches and pauses real memory retrieval actually has. The liar, meanwhile, is performing stillness, like someone trying very hard to look like they aren't trying. That extra effort, that managed calm, is itself one of the clearest signals that something effortful is happening underneath.
Think about what this means for the way you've judged people your whole life. You've probably been taught that nervous equals guilty and calm equals innocent. It's almost the opposite. The truth doesn't need managing. A lie does. And the bigger the lie, the more managing it requires, which is exactly why high-stakes lies are so much more exhausting than small ones. Your brain isn't built to sustain a complex, false narrative indefinitely without cost. Cognitive load builds. Working memory gets taxed. Eventually, something gives. A pause that's too long, a detail that contradicts an earlier detail, a sentence that gets rebuilt midway through because the original plan didn't quite work.
Now, here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Your ancestors didn't evolve this machinery because lying is bad. They evolved it because living in groups made small deceptions occasionally useful, and being caught in large ones occasionally fatal. A little social smoothing. Yes, your hunt went well. No, I'm not upset. Kept the group calm and cooperative. But a serious lie? About loyalty, about resources, about who could be trusted, could get you exiled from the only protection you had against a hostile world. So your brain developed two systems running side by side. One that lets small, easy lies slip out almost automatically because the cost of catching them is low. And one that puts enormous strain on bigger lies because historically, the cost of getting caught in a big one was enormous. You were not broken or unusually dishonest. You were running ancient, finely tuned software, optimized for a world of small bands and high-stakes trust. Now, operating in a world of texts, emails, and small talk it was never designed for.
Here's your modern mirror. Every time you say, "I'm fine," when you're not, your brain is doing a tiny, almost unnoticeable version of what it would have done standing in front of your tribe centuries ago, deciding in real time how much truth this moment can actually afford.
Every time you catch yourself over-explaining a simple excuse, adding details nobody asked for, that's cognitive load leaking out as extra words, because the truth never needed the extra words in the first place. Every time someone seems a little too calm, a little too smooth, a little too rehearsed, you're watching DiPaolo's diary studies, Ekman's micro-expressions, and Vrai's research on managed composure, all playing out live in a conversation you'd never think to call a psychology experiment.
You'll never fully turn this off. You're not supposed to. The same machinery that lets you tell a small, kind lie to spare someone's feelings is the machinery that once kept your ancestors alive inside a group they depended on completely. But now you know what's actually happening underneath the words. You know that calm can mean effort, that smoothness can mean construction, and that the easiest lies are the ones you've told so many times your own brain stopped flagging them as work at all. So the next time you say you're fine, notice it. Not because you need to stop, just because now, for the first time, you'll actually feel your own brain do the thing you never noticed it was doing every single time you lie.